Ian Crane!
Welcome back to No Contest. More than just a behind-the-scenes series, it's stabbing Red Bull's deep dive into the cultural richness, the unique charm, and the radical local characters that make each of the 11 stops on the World Championship Tour special.
Parties at the Stab House, and then cut.
On this episode, we're following French Lace into Portuguese Burel down the European leg, the 9th and 10th stops on the World Championship Tour, Hossegor, France, and Super Tubos, Portugal. From Los Angeles, it's anywhere from a 13 to 17-hour flight to Bordeaux, France, depending on your route's international layover. It's then a 2-hour drive south to the French Basque Country and the hard-packed sandbanks of Hossegor and Capretone. Welcome to Hossegor. Look at that sandbar right there. First day in France. First day of the European leg, but we're right at Le Grave, staying at La Centrale, sort of in the thick of it, and we're looking into, you guys get blown out of barrels like maybe 20 feet from the beach, so straight into it.
Yeah, did you get it?
Hossegor is home to a handful of the best sandbars in Europe, from Casernes and Les Peñons in the forest to the north, south to Seignos, Les Bourdains, Estaignos, and Les Counous, before the hard-packed shore pound at Le Gravier, and Le Sud and Le Nord right out front of La Centrale. On the other side of the Capretone harbor is La Prevent, La Santosha, and the famed Capretone bunkers in front of La Piste, aka VFWs. This is Capretone. We're just to the south of Hossegor. This is the next town to the south. This is one of the most iconic surf spots in Europe right here, the Capretone bunkers. They're old, almost artifacts at this point, 60, 70-year-old war bunkers from World War II. And the art on them changes every year. There's beautiful murals always on all of them. And there's always a absolutely crazy sandbank right out front that always seems to deliver. And there's never anybody out. You understand now why, like, Quicksilver base their office is up the street, and this is their lunch break spot, and why so many surfers sneak off and don't tell you. You're taking off like getting tubed looking at these war bunkers. The bunkers are actually the remains of Nazi bunkhouses, built by the Germans as part of their notorious Atlantic Wall, which ran from the French Basque Country north to Normandy. With only 3 events remaining for the year, surfers on the World Championship Tour will have wildly different experiences in Europe, depending on their place in the rankings. While the boys in town for the last stop on the Red Bull Airborne Tour get to soak it all in with nothing to lose. So we met up with Airborne mastermind Josh Kerr and a few of the boys for some Bordeaux, baguettes, and an afternoon of sandbar punts.
Just to be here in France, like, with Father Kerr, like having him show us around. It's with an epic crew like Kev and Jado and Kersey.
Yeah, it's my first time in France.
What do you think?
I think it's the best place ever. So I haven't landed an air yet, so that's what we're gonna go do tonight. We've just been trying to get tubed all morning. So tubes in the morning, punts at night. Pretty happy to be here.
During the summer, Hossegor, Biarritz, and the rest of southwest France is packed with visitors from all over Europe, and more than its fair share of expats. But come September, most of the beach towns clear out for the fall and winter. In a real way, the Quicksilver Pro France extends Hossegor's summer a good 3 weeks and serves as a proper send-off before many businesses shutter for the winter.
There it is. How's that pronunciation? It's beautiful.
Was that okay?
Yeah.
I dream about it all year until I come here, and then I find out what day they close, because they close like halfway through our holding period every year, and then I try to go as much as possible.
They close for the season.
Yes, for the season.
This is Chez Menus. This is the place that I dream about when I'm not in France. It's a staple for anybody that ever comes to Hossegor. It's specifically for moules frites and grilled prawns. They just serve up giant batches of these beautiful mussels, and you just sit and eat French fries and shrimp and mussels for as long as you can. It's the dinner in France.
She's at home.
Pretty good little posse here from the Red Bull Airborne crew. A lot of these guys have never been here but are very excited about it or been hearing about it for years.
Joint time!
Shouts out.
To Mr. Josh Kerr here for somehow talking the authorities into letting all you crazy assholes come to France. So thank you, Kersey.
So thanks for everyone for being here, of course. 1 year since the first Airborne. Stoked on that, like 4th one we've done so far. This one's exciting because we've got some heavy hitters, especially in gnarly conditions. The guys we have here, we've got those kind of guys that love just risking their limbs, being in live situation. They're ready just to go for it. So that's going to be amazing to see them kind of really put their stamp on where they're at in this movement that's happening right now. And you guys, someone's got to beat all the CT guys, keep winning the event. We've got Julian and Jack and Griffin a part of this one, so I'd like to see one of you guys take it out over those guys. Well, basically the future of air surfing is doing big airs in gnarly waves, and that's looking like the forecast we've got this week. I think there's going to be some really big airs and some really heavy sections, and that's kind of the future of our sport.
Chippa, give us a conditions report right now. Gnarly.
Oh, watch this. Oh my goodness, that would have been a scary landing. Oh! That would have been so sick.
Snake, you want to give us a play-by-play of that griff wave?
And did really well to get the ramp here, like before the closeout. There's like cheek out to the clean bit, and then a closeout, see?
Have you ever seen a contest with as much carnage?
There was a couple airs that I saw the guys go for, and I was just like, I was cringing. Like, don't hurt yourself.
About 8 people have broken their boards. A couple of snapped arms, ligaments. No, it's hectic.
I think like 4 people got hurt already. Bad cork, bad swelling, no break, no fracture, no nothing, just really bad impact.
I pulled my groin pretty bad.
Hey, bro. What happened? Oh my.
I'm leaving a piece of me out there, so I'm hopefully like I get some form of good luck for my heat. I'm a victim of the death section.
Back out there, bro. Put some super glue on it.
Yeah, we'll be back in
Is it heavy?
You're killing CT, guys.
Yeah.
What do you got to say to Kersey?
Good on ya. It's entertaining as shit. Let's not break any more CT guys.
Can I see? Okay. Jack's even freaking out.
How many stitches did they say? 4?
4 stitches.
That was sick, whoever did that. Who was that?
Backside step. It's the only one you can do it.
Yeah, and Crane. That is insane. Yeah, I got my money on him. He wins. That was up.
After watching Crane before, I'll go the Crane.
Who's in the final with you?
Me, Finn, Maxime, Griffin, no man, Reef. It's winner take all, 1 air, so do something sick. I did like little kind of like stock airs to make the final, so it'd be cool to like hit something big and do something sick.
Parties at the Stab House.
And then cut.
With California's most underrated surfer and one of Stab's closest comrades winning Red Bull Airborne, it seemed rude not to celebrate properly at the Stab House.
And to introduce the man of the moment, we've got Joe Tapel to get us going. Come on.
This is about a special man that deserves every bit of this. I haven't seen so many happy faces when the right guy wins. We all win. Ian Crane!
I guess I f***ing won. This is sick. I just want to say thanks to all my friends and everyone here. This is like the best time ever. And so, cheers.
Hossegor's sandbanks are some of the most fickle and shifty in the world. Each year, the WSL builds event sites at 2 locations, either the softer, current-riddled outer sandbars at Leonard or Esteños, or the ruthless but beloved shore pound of Le Gravier. And for the first time in years, the tour scored pumping Le Grave for nearly the entire event. After a week of truly challenging conditions, local favorite Jeremy Flores commandingly took the win at Le Grave, while ratings leader Carissa Moore extended her lead heading into Portugal. If you've never done it, any visiting surfer has to make the drive from France to Portugal, if only to get a good look at the Spanish Basque Country, and 2 of the most culturally, culinarily, and architecturally rich cities in Europe, if not the world, San Sebastian and Bilbao. On our way south, we met up with Kersey, the People's Champion Crane, Chris Cote and Vaughn Blakey, and some friends for some pinchos, sidra, and good Spanish red in San Sebastian, before a lesson in Basque cooking at the Gastronomic Society there.
So if you stir, suddenly appear a lot of water. It's gonna be full of water and we don't like it.
No, you're Bourdain.
A private eating club traditional to San Sebastian where club members gather with family to cook for each other. Our menu? Soft eggs with local mushrooms and a few massive hunks of chuleta steak, thick-cut, bone-in Basque entrecote that's served rare and simply salted. The drive from France through Spain to Peniche, Portugal takes 8 to 9 hours, depending on the route. There are countless potential pit stops between Madrid, Galicia, Salamanca, and elsewhere. Aside from some of the most wave-rich coastline in Europe, Portugal is known for castles, cork, and seafood, especially the area's famously plump little sardines.
I've never tried sardines.
I'm gonna pass on the sardines.
Nah, not really sardines.
I actually was fed sardines by the mayor of Peniche.
Sardines sound and smell pretty rank.
But you know what? I would eat that over snails.
If you're curious where the overwhelming aroma of raw fish is emanating from, look no further than the fishing boats in the Peniche harbor and the sardine cannery smack dab in the middle of town. Seafood is big business in Portugal, and for centuries the area has relied on a ridiculously bountiful sardine population. However, in the last decade and a half, the once plentiful local sardines have become an increasingly sparse and expensive rarity. In the last decade, the sardine population has dropped, mostly due to climate change and excessive fishing. In 2006, fishermen caught 106,000 tons of sardines. In 2016, only 22,000. And if they aren't sinking their teeth into sardines, surfers in town for the Rip Curl Pro are doing their best to read the winds, tides, and shifting sandbars around the complicated Peniche coastline. From Supertubos to the south, Peniche juts east into the Atlantic like a veritable peninsula. While there are a few waves in the rocky nooks around the city center, most of the best surf is found on the sandbars to the north, with south winds blow out Supertubes but groom the north-facing beaches. As fickle as anywhere on tour, if you're on it, hunting waves around Peniche can be wildly rewarding. Each year, the world title and the following year's requalification and seeding hinges on the penultimate event in Portugal. This year is no exception, with tight title races on the men's and women's sides drawing dramatically tighter at Supertubes. After one of the most unpredictable events of the year, Italo Ferreira and Caroline Marks leave Portugal with very big trophies and very attainable world title hopes going into Hawaii. For the last events at Pipeline and Honolulu Bay, Gabriel Medina, Jordy Smith, Felipe Toledo, and Kalohe Andino are chasing Italo Ferreira in the lead, while Caroline Marks and Lakey Peterson are still within striking distance of Carissa Moore. In the last 5 years, countless international pros have relocated to Portugal. Why? Incredibly affordable property, often a stone's throw from any number of the dozens of world-class waves within a short drive from Lisbon International. It doesn't take long to understand why Lisbon is so attractive to a proudly cosmopolitan character like Kanoa Igarashi, who has called Ericeira, Cascais, and Lisbon home for the last half-decade.
5 years ago when I first started coming here, it felt really right to me. The lifestyle we kind of got to live. Every country has their own culture. Lisbon just felt like it suited me really well. It's super diverse. It's crazy. The trashiest part of Lisbon. Welcome. I was able to mix in the love I had with the city, having Lisbon so close to so many world-class spots. I can wake up in the morning and just look outside my window and know exactly where I'd be able to surf. Once you know, it's you know.
That's it for No Contest Europe. From here, we're heading to the north shore of Oahu. Thanks for coming with us. We'll see you in Hawaii.